Welcome everybody to the Give It Podcast, a podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. Of course, I'm your host, the Most Black Spartan. Of course, with the guys to my left, your right, depending on your screen is flipped. Show guy Joe and Tafari. Guys, how you doing this evening?
See, Knuckles, I told you he was contractually obligated to be here if anything Sonic related was coming up.
I still need to binge the show eventually.
Fair enough.
I was literally telling him in pre-show, it's like, where's Tafari? I think he's like contractually bound to be here because of Knuckles. And then he said, you didn't watch Knuckles. It's like, no, he's still contractually bound to be here.
I haven't watched it yet, but I forgot they like restocked every amiibo like over the last couple of weeks, and I ordered a Sonic one like a month ago. I forgot, and then I got the notification today. So I had to go like rush to Best Buy and pick it up before they close. So
you said Terry Bogard very weirdly.
God bless.
You know, I never got my hands on that franchise. I understand the Terry hype, but I had to get a Sonic, a Sephiroth, and I got the Advent Children variant of Cloud on the way.
Fair enough. But much like we usually say, guys, we are a little bit of the older generation, so we do try to watch our language, but words do fly. At the same time, there will be trailers that will be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers. I'm fairly certain one of them is tonight. So again, viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So let's start off with the good news. Just because we saw it coming, again, Ryan Reynolds doesn't disappoint us. Again, we are going to show the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. I stress this very heavily. This is Deadpool and Wolverine. This trailer is definitely not for kids. I have said it. I feel I think we've covered all our legalities and things that you can't sit there and say we didn't warn you guys. But yes, let's talk about it. It is the Deadpool Wolverine trailer.
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now.
Look, lady, I'm not interested.
All right, well, I'm sort of on the tick-tick, so upsy daisy. Here we go. Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40.
You don't want this.
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your fucking forehead, I suggest you reconsider. I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about.
Not my fucking problem.
Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
Come again.
This Wolverine let down his entire world.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
Go fuck yourself.
Life is a mystery.
I don't know anything about saving worlds, but you do.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man. I am soaking wet right now.
Toys are so silly.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence. Who knows if you live or die? Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Want to do some cocaine?
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
What about Bolivian marching powder?
They know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even forest bump.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes! I can't.
And that was a trailer, guys, for Deadpool and Wolverine. there is no other words I can sit there and say is that, well, Kevin Feige does have a line, and cocaine was the line. But
no, I
aside
got a
from
word
that,
for it. It's called demonetized.
well, I mean that too, but we'll run that risk. But with that being said, there's so much to unpack from this. But I have to give Tafari props because Tafari of all people, if you don't know what Tafari does, number one, this man is constantly working. Number two, he always shoots the shot. And the reason why I'm building up to this is because of this here. Tafari, you can tell him what you did. You can go. You can take it.
You know, it's funny. That was my second or third time putting up that tweet because I kept misspelling it, and then I thought it was like a goof account because there's so many on Twitter now, and then I looked and like, oh no, that's the real Ryan Reynolds, and I'm just like, you want to come watch it with us, or can I at least? How do I secure my parents' invite? So, and my replies have been in shambles for days thanks to that tweet.
I mean, but still, the fact that he turned around and said, for all those that can't see, Tafari did say, showed my parents the Deadpool Wolverine trailer. My dad's a comic head, so he sold the action. Meanwhile, my mom, great song selection, had Anthony Reynolds, real Hugh Jackman. They're both officially on board. Again, we don't ever expect this, but Ryan Reynolds did respond directly to Tafari. I'll tell your parents I'll see them July 26th. If they have any questions during the film, I'll be happy to stop the movie and provide thoughtful answers in real time. A win is a win. I'm gonna call it what it is. A win is a win. But no, that is very cool to actually. I mean, we always talk about it would be cool to actually get responses back from the same people that that brought us these amazing things. At the same time, you got Ryan Reynolds to respond to you in the only way and fashion he knows how. Which again, I have to give you props for that one. But taking away from the trailer, fellas, anybody want to start with what they saw and what we probably will expect to see, or just guessing? I mean, right now, I know outside the very few things we've seen, and I'm just going to throw them out there. Of course, Giant Man's Head, which is a direct link to a Hank Pym story. The Red Skull, yes, it is. I had to ask somebody.
It's Old Man Logan.
I thought it was Old Man Logan.
It's Old Man Logan.
It's connected to Old Man Logan.
They gave a backstory for it. They gave a backstory for Pym Falls.
From what I remember, I guess it was more along the lines of what happened during the Old Man Logan. I have to go back and actually reread that exact comic of what exactly happened, but that's where it's being pulled from. So a lot of people are like, "Is Ant-Man dead in the MCU?" No, this is being pulled from Old Man Logan. So it is being pulled from a comic book story. Joe, which I had to give him credit for because he was the first person to call it. The fact that we did see Cassandra Nova, which looks like we will be seeing more of Professor X's family in this movie. And then there was the Doctor Strange portals, if you will. So this, a lot of people are speculating as far as, is this going to be linked to the other MCU movies? Or are we going to see other cameos? Because other actors, we've seen Halle Berry get thrown around. We've seen James Marsden get thrown around. We've seen, I forgot the woman that played Jean Grey in the Bryan Singer series. I forgot her name already.
Jensen.
Thank you. Their names have been thrown around. So the cameo list is still secretive because nothing is being confirmed. But aside from that, anybody else want to throw out what they've seen or what they theorize?
They're still theorizing the Swifties come in as Dazzler.
They've
been in the press box together at a lot of NFL games.
I mean, I'm not against it. I'm really not against it. I am not. But again, it's Ryan Reynolds. He trolls this. He does troll, so we really shouldn't be surprised about this. But I'm not against it if it is. I mean, think about it. This is the MCU, which technically they could say it's a Dazzler from a different MCU, from different multiverse. So I'm not against it. I could see Ryan Reynolds doing it. I can even see him bringing back Storm just for Halle Berry to sit there and go, "Why am I here?" I thought my contract obligation was done. Why am I here? He can even bring back James Marsden and sit there and say, "Well, of all the ways I've died in the first one, I guess I have to come back and redeem myself somehow." He can even go back and, as we joked on Blurred's Eye View just this past Tuesday, or Thursday, I'm sorry, we joked about every Sony movie possibly having a cameo, and Deadpool is going back and murdering every character. So it's possible. I mean, I'm not against it, but it'd be possible. But Joe, but anybody else? Because I'm looking forward to it just because of what is possible there. But again, is there anything else in that trailer that we're missing, guys?
Rob Liefeld, what Rob Liefeld reference with Liefeld's Just Feed, which is hilarious on its own. The vehicles being from Captain America. Let me think. The fact that there's a red sash scene in one scene, which may be Elektra. Red energy pulse, which may be Wanda, or Mephisto confirmed.
Joe, your audio went out. Yeah, your audio went out, Joe.
Unplugged.
Try again. Nope, you're still out. But while Joe's fixing that, let's see. What did Miss Final Max say? I love the bit about how they can't talk about cocaine. Yeah, that part was pretty funny. The fact that he talked about. I'm sorry, Joe. Try again. Did you say something?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now you got it. Say what you're gonna say beforehand.
Let me think. The vehicles being from Captain America 1, Red Skull's car, Captain America's bike, the Rob Liefeld foot store, which in itself is genius. A red sash blowing in the wind at one point during the forest scene may either mean Elektra, Jennifer Garner, Elektra specifically. Red energy bolt in the background, meaning possibly confirmed of Wanda, or a multiverse Wanda. That or Mephisto's confirmed. I truly believe he would roll into that role.
Just to mess with us? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm sure there's going to be a scene. If we're in Old Man Logan world, God, we got better get ready for some Hulks. Some very poorly CGI'd Hulks.
I just not thought about this. What's to keep him from doing Eric Bana's Hulk? There's nothing contractually obligating stopping him from using Eric Bana's Hulk.
Probably Eric Bana because it's the Hulk based off his likeness.
I mean, technically,
Universal Studios has nothing to do with Marvel.
I thought the rights expired on Hulk.
Yeah, because I mean,
It says Hulk's done at the moment.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought the
rights
expired.
Fight Bob Iger.
I know something happened with the rights because it's on Disney Plus now. It wasn't at one point.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. It's possible. I mean, I would say it's possible if the rights were expired. I'd say it's open season. But as Joe said, if the rights have been expired, then they can't do it. But who knows? Who knows what they have done with Deadpool Wolverine? It's so under wraps right now that we're not even caring about the story. We're just trying to see how many cameos he can throw into this.
I'm curious where they are. I'm curious where they are TVA wise, as far as between or after Loki seasons.
This is after Loki because we do see the giant cloud again coming towards them in Old Man Logan. So I think this is after Loki.
Okay, so we're seeing that cloud monster that they faced in Loki. I forgot what they called it.
Elias, which makes me curious if we're going to see Renslayer or if this is what they described Elias to be, which was to be basically a cleanup crew before he was just put into the void. Apparently, he was just roaming the multiverse before.
Well, you know what?
Chains on him.
Well, you know what's crazy? Renslayer, the last time we left her, is sitting outside of time.
Yeah,
so it's possible.
He was getting ready to get eaten anyway, so.
That's what everybody thinks because she didn't get eaten on screen, she might be like controlling him now,
right? Which would be interesting, but no. I mean, just from the aspects of this, like I said, I'm expecting. Well, we're expecting. I mean, we expect from Deadpool movie over the top craziness, another Celine Dion number. We're expecting the whole nine because, again, it is from all intents and purposes, it looks like they're sticking with the rated R, which I'm glad. They haven't.
Juggernaut's going to be in this.
Yeah, I don't see why not. He didn't die. I mean, he didn't die in 2. He just got shocked the wrong way. But I mean, he still should make an appearance. I don't see why not.
It'd be a waste to not have him and Cable in this after the last two movies, which apparently this is a third Deadpool film, but not Deadpool 3.
Yes, more Wham. Wham actually got a bump in playing since Deadpool, by the way.
So did Madonna, and like even Ryan Reynolds is like, look, Like a Prayer getting back on the charts is pure coincidence. We actually have nothing to do with it.
Although what's so funny about that, he is, as Mr. Final Max did talk about more Wham. Wham wasn't, okay, let me take this back. Wham was known to previous generations before 1994. Everybody after that got introduced to it by Deadpool. So let me just point it out that way. Everybody's like, is this a new band? No, you're young and you're finding out about music previously. That's all it is. But no, Deadpool Wolverine just seems like it's going to be a great movie. Again, cannot wait until it finally comes out. It's going to be fun to watch. But some quick news, like I said, not a lot in the news circuit today, guys, but we got to talk about this because Joe brought this up about Tekken 8, and I'm starting to think this is the way. I'm hoping this is not the path for fighting games, but again, I'm concerned. What I'm talking about is, guys, for Tekken 8, the reviews right now are going to the negative part. And again, you're probably wondering what's going on. It's like, is it review bombing? Sort of. Because let's be honest, if somebody doesn't like something, of course, they'll try to bomb it to hell and say it's terrible, it's bad, it's trash, shouldn't play it. But there's other problems. They're seeing requests like characters like Elisa to get deleted from the game. Much of the complaints, as they said in the article, seem to be from the Tekken shop, where they're announcing premium content like costumes, accessories, things that were probably available before, having issues being locked now. The fact that if you want a certain costume or item, that you have to pay for it. And of course, this is the whole thing that we keep on saying about microtransactions. That yes, we get it, how fighting games are in the market fighting games. They're going in seasons now, which means that you are getting DLC, you are going to be getting characters as they're released. You're going to probably be getting annual or holiday themed costumes. You're probably going to be getting additional things as far as character customization. But with all these things that does come with it, unfortunately, transactions come with it as well. So, and Joe had said this way before, and I give Joe credit for this, because microtransactions can kill a game faster than anything about the game itself. Where if you basically nickel and dime your customers into buying things just to customize or to get characters or to get stages or to get access to things, which makes no sense after paying the initial $70 for it, people are going to stop playing it. So this is what's happening with Tekken 8 happening right now. I'd say yes, but Tafari, Joe, what do you guys think?
That's not what is happening at all. So the biggest issue with this pass is that we are only getting cosmetics for avatars for the arcade scene, where it's our little me figures, and not the actual fighter figures itself. To access that, you have to do the premium pass, which gives you both character customization for characters and avatar thing. But that's not the biggest issue.
That's still microtransaction, but go ahead.
No, not the way you think. They have what's called the Street Fighter issue, where they cost, like, say you want the Tekken 3 Jin costume, that costs $4.
Okay.
You have to spend $10 because there is no $4 increment. It's $10, $20, $30, $40. So what they're doing is you pay the $10, you get the premium pass for $6. That gives you that extra $4 in order to buy the thing. So it's not even that it's microtransaction, is that there is no flat out way to buy the exact item you want. Now, the opposite side of this is something that Harada has gone on Twitter numerous times saying, hey, figured out this microtransaction thing. I mean, if you can buy something for the exact amount of money it says for without having to buy a bulk price, then yes, Smash Brothers did figure it out. But Harada has gone on record numerous times saying, it's like, if we don't do this, you don't get characters. You don't get stages. You
But
don't
here's the
get
thing.
this.
That's still a weak sauce argument. That's still saying you have to pay more to get the exact thing that you want, but in order to do so, you still have some left over. But they're saying that, okay, in order for us to do or give you what you want, you're still overpaying because they can't give you the exact price. That's nickel and diming.
I mean, you're not wrong on that, but the biggest issue is not the nickel diming; it's the bulk price.
Yes.
Period.
And why? That's what that because a lot of players. And I'm sorry, Tafari, you about to say something?
No, I didn't know anything because that's what I was confused about. Was why is it getting so many negative reviews this late after the release? And I guess this is just the fans' way of communicating their issues.
Well, it's the thing that I've always sat there and said that with the future of how they do games and the fact that they've introduced fighting seasons into the fighting games and some games beyond that, especially like games like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, they introduce seasons. I get that to a certain extent, but it's almost like the Battle Pass system. I hate the Battle Pass system because you're telling me, because again, I always stress this very heavily, whenever it comes to Battle Passes, you are paying for releases to digital content that you yourself do not own. You're basically paying for the right to use it. And if said developers decide at any time they want to pull it, you've lost your money because you don't get that access anymore. So again, that's what I've always hated about microtransactions. And it's the same thing here in fighting games. That's why for me, it's like, I'd rather just, don't get me wrong, I love fighting games, but I'd rather wait until the entire season's completed and then just get all the fires I want then. That way I know I have access to everything versus nickel and diming me to death. But that's just me. Like I said, that's just me on that.
The other issue.
Go ahead, Jim.
The other issue we've had is that several prominent Tekken 7 people have come out to say the game is too aggressive, the game is not fun. To which a lot of us said, that sounds like skill issue. You can't adapt, shut up and move on. Because I understand these are highly prominent people. I give nothing but love and respect to Nee and Arslan. But your time is probably over if you have failed to adapt within the first 3 months of this game from your previous play experience. I'm sorry, your frame the frame data you analyzed for years, this Tekken 7 was out for literally years, does not match up with Tekken 8 anymore. Learn, adapt, or get out of the way for the new crew.
Well, this is why I say there needs to be, for me, and I will say this because there is some hopefully adaptation to it, that you do have your casuals and then you have your ranked. Now, if you're playing in ranked, you got no excuse because ranked is only going to put you whatever your current rank is. So if you were doing okay, let's just use Street Fighter. If you were doing okay in bronze, worked your way up to silver, then gold, and then you're having difficulty in gold, hey, that's the nature of the beast. It's where you're at. But if you don't have like a casual area where folks that just want to come on and play and, not be subjugated to somebody who's just trying to beef up their stats or things of that nature, I can understand that argument there. But if you have an area for casuals and you have an area for rank, then just stay in casual. That's the easiest solution, personally. But I also agree with you, Joe. It's just that you are going to get those folks that, let's be honest, if you can't adapt to a fighting system that's been put out there, you cannot ask the same people who develop that fighting system for a handful of others who may not be able to master it. You can't sit there and say, well, we need you to water it down because we can't adjust to what the current system is. You can't ask folks to do that.
No, I mean, these are Evo level players saying the game's too aggressive, systems are broken. Now, Tekken actually did just go through a big patch where they had some issues that they had to fix and are still fixing some other problems. Some characters still an issue. Eddie Gordo plays so weirdly, and the Eddie Gordo thing on its own is its own issue because if you don't buy Eddie Gordo, you can't actually download anybody using Eddie Gordo Ghost to practice against. You have to physically buy. You have to buy the character. So that goes back to your nickel and diming thing. Like that's that's a huge issue. To where even if I don't own him, I can fight against him, but I can't get your ghost to practice against him. That's a problem.
Right.
But for people of that high caliber, I can only assume it's because you've memorized a certain amount of frame data over the multiple years of playing this game, and now that frame data is obsolete and you can't move forward. Which I say, oh well, get out of the way for the new names.
No, that's
I'm in red rank. I know these guys are in like the purple and black ranks. They can get over their bad selves.
Yeah. But Safari, the Nicholas.
I just saw this like before we got on. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Oh, it is perfect because I know exactly what this is. So for all those that are wondering what the nickel and dime is in a nutshell, this should help.
Wow, you guys, you got a really good game here. It seems like you paid a lot of attention to detail and you all really cared about this game. There is passion in this room.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we just worked really hard, man. I don't know how we pulled it off, but the team is amazing.
Remove half of it. What? Remove half of the game.
And we'll sell it back to them as DLC.
What? No! We can't!
Do it. We'll drip feed them content that's already in the game.
But they'll blame us!
I don't care!
They'll hate us!
Money!
We can't! No!
Put a day one pre-order.
I won't do it! Please! Wow.
Yep, that makes sense. That is 100% accurate.
I feel like that's a direct response to the Tekken Cross Street Fighter debacle, where they found out that half the cast was already on the disc.
Yeah, which is still, or it's even worse when it's disc lock content. Remember that whole entire issue where you had to pay to get access to what's already on a physical disc, which I thought was still
that's
crazy.
the Tekken Street Fighter thing. It was like 20, like
I thought. Wait. Besides that, wasn't
10
another
or 12 extra characters were already on the disc.
Yeah, there was another game though that was like that.
I don't know if it was on the disc, but I know Ashura's Wrath. They basically sold you the ending.
Yeah, that was that too. But it's gonna bug me to death now. There was another game that had disc lock content that you had to pay to get it out, and it escapes me right now. And I was making such a big qualm about it when it first came out, but I'll have to go back and look. But yeah, it's crazy that we talk about this at the same time Evo Japan 2024 is going on, which I have to find footage of that to see exactly what's going on. For all those who don't know, the Evo tournament, as Joe said, one of the bigger Evo tournaments that used to be here in Las Vegas. I think did Capcom buy Evo? If my memory serves me right.
I think Sony did.
Sony or Capcom, because of issues with a certain individual, that Evo kind of got shut down for a while, but then it got purchased. But anyway,
I think it's Sony.
It might be Sony. I might be thinking Sony, not Capcom. It might be Sony, to be honest with you. But with Evo going on in Japan, like right now, because Japan's a day ahead of us, they're much like things that happen in Evo. They usually turn around. Thank you, Mr. Final Max. Sony bought Evo. Thank you, sir.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so what's actually going on right now? Usually at Evo, guys, they usually either release news about games, fighters, DLCs, things of that nature. Most likely what we think will probably come out, of course, Akuma for Street Fighter 6. They might show gameplay from that. I'm looking forward to it. Akuma is one of my favorite fighters out of Street Fighter 6. They also may show more of Tekken 8, which means that usually around this time, we already know that Eddie Gordo is already a known character. They may actually show who's being released in summer, possibly autumn. Again, that's a toss-up. We don't know as of yet. But because it is Evo, they do have a tendency of actually showing who it actually is. Guilty Gear Strive, which again, we're going to be seeing the last DLC character for that possibly. And also Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, they'll probably be showing their first demo, which means that those at Evo Japan will get to play it, you lucky SOBs.
I think that got confirmed recently.
Say that one more time.
I think that got confirmed recently that City of the Wolves is going to have a demo.
Okay. Because lucky them, they get to play it. And also, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising will also have their next DLC character showing there as well. And then the Hunter x Hunter Nin Impact, which again, for all those that don't know, is going to be another fighting game. I did not know Hunter x Hunter had a fighting game. This was news to me. So if this, oh no, go ahead, Joe.
So Tafari probably knows what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
This thing looks like hot dog shit. Like this thing
looks don't do that
like hot shit. So it's a 3-on-3 CVS style fighter where your max roster is 16 characters.
You gotta hurt. Why do you go? Oh, well, they're going.
And then they've already shown the dude with the glasses has a corner infinite already in the demo.
Well, there goes my anticipation. Damn.
And you know that bizarre flung state from CVS, that zombie state looking like this? Yeah, that's what everybody looks like when they fall. They all have that bizarre zombie state.
I saw clips of it floating around Twitter, and I was like, okay, this is like an early alpha build, or somebody got their hands on like maybe an early trailer from Evo or like some test stuff, and then they dropped the official trailer with that same footage. And all my friends who are big fighters are just like, it looks like you guys tried to make another Storm clone and backed out last second, and then made it like a 2D fighter and didn't fix the frame rates at all.
So that's not even alpha footage. That's what they're going with.
That's what I thought it was until the trailer dropped with that same footage. And I'm like, y'all need to put this back in the oven.
Yeah, yes, Lizzie. It is Hunter x Hunter news. I'm just excited about it. But you might want to listen to Joe and Safari because apparently they got to see some clips of it, and it ain't good. It's not good.
So before I saw the footage, I saw Justin Wong say, I just played Nin Impact for 2 hours and it felt like 10 hours. And I was like, oh, that must be really good. Then I looked at the trailer, like, oh, he meant it this way.
See, that's what's going to be terrible. But also, I closed that a little bit too soon.
Footage?
Say what?
Will, can you find any of that footage?
Let me see. I think they dropped the official trailer because all the footage kept getting leaked. Let me see if it's actually out.
Yeah, see, you can find that part while I explain. Because I did forget two other parts of that. Outside of the Hunter x Hunter, which again has already just took the winds out of my sails, we might actually be seeing news of a brand new Virtua Fighter game that's currently in development. They may or may not show it at Evo Japan 2024. Also, the game 2KO, formerly Project L. They're saying that it's possible they may show a demo of it. As of right now, it's not confirmed for that. But no, those are the only two things I forgot to mention off the Evo Japan 2024 board. But dang, that hurts my heart that Hunter x Hunter, you would think for a beloved anime that you're looking forward to the game and y'all have seen footage of it and it's trash already.
The other issue, I think, here's the other problem I think we have with the Hunter x Hunter fighting game is that if we are using the most prominent characters in that show, there's actually not that many.
That's what other people were saying. I've never watched Hunter x Hunter, but people were saying like, y'all don't have a lot of people to fill out a roster. So what are we doing?
Yeah, like they have like the Naruto, this initial Naruto problem where like you got to use those 2 water ninjas from episode 2 to fill 2 slots because you don't have a large enough cast in the grand scheme of things. Now, okay, there we go. Please, by all means,
if a streamer or a gaming channel has to put out your trailer first, it's usually 50-50 if the game is good or not.
Anime fighters, yeah, that's true. All right, let's see what this looks like.
Storm was golden for a time because I'd never finished the Naruto anime because they were just taking too long with the fillers, and Storm 3 and 4 were great.
Interestingly enough, I actually have, before we start this and what Tafari was
Yeah,
saying, I actually read an article that came out last month that did the math.
Mhm.
So, combining Naruto, Shippuden, and Boruto, it is officially confirmed that half of that franchise, literally 50% based out of all statistical episodes, that series is that franchise is 50% filler. Because Naruto,
we moved
Naruto
to see
original Naruto is 40%. Shippuden is 41%, and then Boruto is 80%. So you add it all up and then divide by 3. That franchise is 50% filler.
Which kind of confirms what a lot of people were saying about that.
Dude, they just ran it into the ground. It was just like
the best way to do that Naruto franchise is to play the video game.
Wow. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong.
I picked up at like the perfect time because Toonami was like a phantom at the time, and Disney XD Disney aired it for like 5 episodes and threw it away. So I picked up Storm 2 because I finished original Naruto, and right where Storm 2 left off is where the show was. So I finished the pain arc. Then they back into filler hell with this infinite training arc for the war, and then Storm 3 drops. I'm like, I might as well just play this. And then while waiting for the anime to finish, Storm 4 and the manga finished. I'm like, I might as well I know where I left off too. There's 500 episodes. I stopped I got to 270. We were in the middle of a war, and then out of nowhere, we were back in the village, and Sakura had amnesia with the village. I'm like, we can't even. I don't mind the fillers that are like in the actual battle scenes, like the one filler I do like because I actually wondered when they pulled up all the rejects that they tried to revive, because when he went grave robbing, he kept grabbing the wrong corpse, and some of those people kept finding their family members on the battlefield. I was like, what are the odds? That filler was okay, because then the next day, Madara happened. So I was like, cool, we got the silly stuff. And then we're going to adapt 50 different novels and stretch it to 500 episodes.
I can tell you exactly where I stopped in Shippuden is where Rock Lee took him on the training exercise, and it turns out they went to a manure farm to literally shovel shit.
Nice. Okay.
Was that like first half or second half? I remember that.
I think that was the first half.
Jesus. Good God. Let me just see how bad this trailer was.
Roll the horrifying footage.
Yep, because y'all kind of killed my hope, so let's see how bad it is. Okay.
I agree. Who uploaded this? This was from DBZ Zanto. Yeah, be happy it wasn't PS360 HD too, because that dude will get your game nuked if it's not nice.
I'm just gonna be honest. I see why y'all said what y'all said now.
I thought it was early test footage because I'm like, the most polished thing is the intro animations, and you didn't even make their mouths move. Like,
what in the world? What engine?
Yes, no, Kingdom Hearts.
I saw this on Maximilian Dude. Yeah, I saw this on Maximilian Dude where he was showing the dudes The dude with the glasses. I don't know anybody in Hunter x Hunter, guys.
I
I will tell you exactly where I jumped off that series. Was where they were trying to cook the giant boars. I'm like, I'm done. So, like, if the dude with glasses corner infinite combos where Max was showing this stuff, and he's just like, there are problems.
I just outside of the fact of what they were looking, it looks like the engine they were using from Street Fighter Alpha. That's what I'm like.
No, it looked like MVC2 stuff. Like that old dude with the golden thing. That's just Gambit's like card thing. The clown dude. All
I'm sure someone's gonna pull a whole side by side of different fighting games that this engine is pulling from. But it's just I don't do fighters much in general, but that. For it to stand out to me as not being appealing, it's a problem. Kingdom Hearts, at least in the PS2, gave them lip flaps. They cut so many corners in anime games or add in so much weird, unnecessary censorship.
And then some. But I'm just, all I can sit there and say is, dang. I mean, you had enough time and better graphics and animation. It should be more polished. I mean, Naruto Storm Generations looks 10 times better than that does. But just, dang.
Did anybody play Storm Generations? Because I know once they had AI controversy, I was like, that's the newest one that came out, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't think Storm Generations. It's Storm Generations and something else.
I think so. Because there was Naruto. There was
New Generation Impact, Boruto New Generation Impact or something.
There you go.
Naruto's Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Impact. Yeah. Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections is the last one.
Yeah, that's what I was
gonna say. What was the story? They had like an evil Naruto and Sasuke that were possessed or something?
Yes, it's supposed to be following what happens in Boruto, where they're briefly possessed.
I feel like the game had a hype, and then the whole AI controversy just kind of ceased all conversation.
But man, played Fire 33 and the third was way, but you ain't lying. You are not lying, sir. But just that hurt my heart. That just hurt my heart.
Yeah, Storm is fortunate that they got that engine and that formula first, because now everyone is just called a clone. But that could have been any anime beforehand, and they just happen to be the right ones to get it.
That is true, but we gotta figure out how to recover from that one, because my God, that was good and terrible. But anyway,
show the Ninja Turtles.
Yes, Ninja Turtles. Thank you. So, of course, with Teenage Mutant Turtles: Mutant Mayhem being successful, they are coming out with a series called Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And really quickly, guys, let me get the trailer pulled up so you guys can see it.
Let's go!
And actually,
I love the movie.
Say what?
Said I love the movie.
Okay, so here's a teaser trailer for it.
Let's go!
Paramount Plus has all things turtles.
You ratted us out.
Hey, don't use that word that way.
Cowabunga!
And this summer, stream the new series Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I got this. Never mind, I don't got this. Guys!
Catch Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with your family.
I need new butts to kick.
Dude, you shouldn't be so aggro.
Streaming this summer only on Paramount Plus.
And I'm not against that, just because TMNT Mutant Mayhem was really good. I have to ask my New Yorker friends, like Room Full of Blurs. I have to ask her, because there were certain parts in the movie where it's like, of course, they're New Yorkers, they're teenagers. They were saying some things that I felt like that's a little much. So I had to ask the people. I had to ask the natives. Did they get this right, or did they tick y'all off? But again, I have to ask that question because, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out, it looks like they're coming out with a series. I'm all for it, just because I'm actually waiting for the next movie. But I wouldn't mind the series on Nickelodeon. But what do you guys think?
I love how Paramount is just getting these franchises that do so well. Meanwhile, they're like burying their own content in the ground, because what is it? I think they completely just deleted the Rugrats reboot. That's nowhere to be found now. iCarly's gone. Which was highly requested. I don't know why that died.
I think Quiet on the Set 86 those things.
Well, this was before that even came out. Like before the first trip. A lot of people just woke up one day and Rugrats was nowhere to be found.
Huh. Wow.
Then Harley got killed. I don't think anybody watched the Zoe 101 follow-up. Meanwhile, TMNT and Sonic are just thriving.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say due to that series, but since it was beforehand, I mean, Sonic, as far as his 3 movies, have done fine, and it kind of leads into what I was about to go into next. But Joe, any thoughts on the Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before we move on to Knuckles?
I mean, we had a very brief snippet of it. I very much enjoyed the movie. It was one of those. I wasn't quite on board with the way some of them sounded, but the more I watched it, the better it got. So, I mean, I'm all down for it. I mean, Rise was one of those ones we also dismissed, and then we started everybody watches like, oh no, this is like watching a Studio Mappa show. We need to keep, or a Studio Trigger anime. We need to keep watching this. And animation is so good.
Yeah. Which I agree to as well.
I think some of the movie cast are not coming back for this. I think they have like people like I know Io Ataberry, I think, is playing April for this. And I think people are keeping their roles in the movies. They just couldn't come back for the show. But I'm curious to see, because we haven't really done a young series where they're just out in the open. Like the 03 series did it, but they had to go like 100 years into the future or something crazy like that. So,
I mean, it makes sense. But no, I'm all for it. Like I said, I can't really see any downside with this. Seth Rogen and company have really figured out a nice little formula. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the television series and the next movie. But like Tafari said, Paramount seems to be sticking with a few things. This is going to be brief because, again, for all those we've been saying, the series Knuckles on Paramount Plus did come out today. All 6 episodes are out there for your viewing pleasure. I watched a few episodes. I can tell you this, guys, it is a nice in-between. It is a nice in-between between Sonic 3 and then, between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, which, if you haven't known by now, Sonic 3 will include Shadow the Hedgehog, so we'll see how that goes. But this series that they have, the short series with Knuckles and with Wade, it is fun. It's entertaining. I'm not going to say anything past that because, yes, it does tie into Sonic 3. So I'm just leaving it at that. I'm leaving it at that just because it is now out on Paramount Plus. Definitely watch all 6 episodes. You'll understand why I'm stopping short of what I really want to say about this, just because it does lead into 3. But guys, I know Tafari, you haven't had a chance to watch Knuckles. Joe, did you?
Yeah, I watched all of it this morning.
Okay. Just what are your impressions of it?
A lot of fun with it. There's a small Easter egg that definitely connects us to Sonic 3. Great time with it. I still can't tell if one character is Christopher Lloyd or not. There's a musical episode, which is like really, the best Kira? Thing ever.
Rage Daddy Forever. Really, Kira? Oh, she's talking about Shadow.
I'm hoping we actually see how Shadow gets put on ice or whatever that process was. Because that...
Well, without going too much into detail, it may involve bowling. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tafari, your question kind of gets answered in the series.
Okay, because when we go into the whole, so many things that like Sonic Adventure 2 is so great, but there's certain things you're just like, how did this work? Like I didn't realize till I was older, like, oh, that final message from Ivo Robotnik is before the firing squad. Also, why did we film this? And he was able to program. He was able to program an ultimate weapon from like a jail cell under like 50,000 feet in the ocean. Why did y'all give him a computer at all?
That is a fair point. But yeah, your question.
I really loved it. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I still got to figure out if Christopher Lloyd is in this or not. Just because it was like the way someone sounded, it's like I can't tell if that's Christopher Lloyd.
It was throwing you off. It threw me off for a little while too. I still haven't got to answer that question. But for all those that are wondering, it is definitely Knuckles on Paramount Plus. Definitely worth watching. Again, it's 6 episodes. Each episode is 30 minutes. Trust me,
I wanted an hour.
Yeah, you'll knock it out. You'll knock it out.
Okay, yeah, I can get through this tonight. Then I was hoping for 6 hours, but I'll take it.
You'll
take
knock
this in a physical release because Paramount, y'all can't be trusted. I'm sorry.
Oh, and also Joe, because Joe's the only person that got to see Netflix City Hunter. Really quickly, your impressions of that, because that's on my watch list tonight as well. As with the two.
Very good, very entertaining. Everybody was casted perfectly. Everybody was casted perfectly. It's very briefly, somewhat of season one, kind of condensed. They do have some mild liberties taken, but they actually went to the creator and asked, "Hey, can we do this?" And he was like, "Fine." The main actor is a huge City Hunter fan. If you look him up, he shows his like room of City Hunter merch. It's like I'm going to do everything in my power to do this correctly, and it shows. I was very much happy with how this turned out.
Nice. Okay. Well, I know I usually say this on Blurred's Eye View, but I also say it here because there's no other way I could sit there and say this. But whenever you see this picture pop up, you immediately think grief counseling session needs to happen. Again, we are going to talk about X-Men Episode 7, Bright Eyes, that did release. I'm going to stress this very heavily. If you have not seen X-Men 97 Episode 7, we are going to go into detail about it. If you do not want to know, we're not asking you to change the channel, but you might want to mute us until Safari gives you the okay sign that you can unmute it and get back to your Nestling program. So 3, 2, 1. That being said, Bright Eyes. Again, I feel like we got to. Should we show the Maximilian reaction first, Joe, before we go into it?
So the reason we're looking at this is because the FGC community celebrated this episode because there are two.
Dude, they sent me down a rabbit hole today. They sent me down a rabbit hole I didn't know I needed till today, and I ended up in like a Thundercat subreddit this morning. But go ahead, Joe. My bad.
Yeah,
ahead,
so
Joe.
there are two nods to the fighting game community in this. We do get Rogue's dive kick from X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and even though he was introduced previously in old school X-Men, they made Gambit's brother Bobby look very familiar to a very famous streamer.
Yep, they did. Although I guess the best reaction I can give to Episode 7 is basically this. That right there. Maximilian Dodd, for all those that don't know, but this particular shot explains Episode 7 in such a way that without words, you can tell it is going to be a grief counseling session. Needless to say, Rogue decided to take matters in their own hands and not one mutant stopped her. At the same time, we find out who is really behind the strings on all this, which did lead to a lot of people typing in their Google searches on who Basket was. Which again, it is completely okay. Which again, for all those, we're not knocking you because again, Bastion is a very, very, very old X-Men character. I mean, he's basically in literally the early 60s. So again, for to be that far back, it is completely okay. It was completely okay to not to know who he was at the end of the show. But now that you do know, and the fact that Sinister is pretty much his puppet in all this. What do we think, guys? Now that we know really the person that's the strings behind all this. But wait till Joe.
Well, Bastion first appeared in 96.
Was it 96? Are you sure?
96. I think you're thinking of the normal human-sized Sentinels, which were the original Sentinel models.
I thought his character was 60s though.
No, he first appeared in Operation Zero Tolerance.
I don't know why I'm thinking older. I could have sworn it was. I'll have to figure. We'll figure that out. But anyway, I could have sworn it was 60s, but I can stand corrected. But again, your guys' opinions on Episode 7, because the first thing I'm going to ask is, did anybody feel bad for what Rogue did?
No.
That's why I said
no,
each
because
episode
he literally owned up to it. It's like they did this to my man.
Yeah. So again with that, and also
just like a true pimp, they always come to claim you in death.
Damn. I mean, you're not wrong, but damn. But no, as far as that goes, as far as the episode goes, it's oh wow. I'm not gonna say it was a body
There's
count.
another way you can sum this episode up.
Go for it.
Yeet.
Basically,
yeah.
I thought about just naming the title of the blurs. I recap that. So episode 5 was Genosha Grief Counseling Session. Episode 6 was the Milky Way Ghetto Town Hall meeting. And this episode, I just said Rogue did nothing wrong. The only true casualty was Captain America's shield.
See, I thought I wasn't great. I thought I wasn't crazy.
Then why does it say first appearance X-Men 52, May 96?
Yeah, they do. I feel like it's weird. They take weird factors into original stuff now. You got to do a deep dive. The first
X-Men 333 was June 96.
We'll clear that up later because that's
because now everybody's searching and the results are probably getting muddied.
Yeah, so we'll cover that. We'll cover that bridge later. The Yeet seen around the world.
X-Men started in 63. It's impossible for it to be issue 333 in 63.
I usually assume the triple digits are like a third run. I don't know. I just get stuff graded and let them label it how they do at this point.
Yeah, we'll leave
it. So, to the X-Men thing, we'll figure out the Bastion thing in a moment.
Yeah.
I love the Captain America cameo. I love the fact that we are getting cameos of a larger universe in this series.
Captain America ticked me off. That's not my Captain.
This is perfectly right for Steve at this time period in 96. You're not wrong. Let me first say this. You're not wrong. But you can't sit there and tell me that they didn't feel like that was the Captain America that would have signed the Accords. But that's a Captain America in a different universe where the Sokovia never happened.
True, but it's the same mentality. It's almost like Walker, except without the humiliation.
No, Steve in this time period, 497, he is right where he is. He is trying to trust a new government. He is running the Avengers, which at this point, we got to remember, the Avengers are a C-level team at best in 97.
Yeah.
They get overtaken by the Thunderbolts comic very quickly.
True.
Because the Avengers and the Fantastic Four are about to die to Onslaught in a year.
Yeah. So
because their books aren't selling.
Yeah, that's when we get wiped out, right?
Yep. So Steve is right where he should be.
That's just the part that bothered me, though. But I don't blame Rogue for kind of throwing his shield halfway across a mountain range.
Oh, no. I mean, that's the right thing to do because he's got to go get that because that's like...
That's what my thought was. I'm like, can we just get an end credit scene of him just with the shovel? Just like, where is he?
Still looking for it.
There's so much good in here. I love we also get an Incredible Hulk nod because Thunderbolt Ross is in the base like, he can't get to us. This is built to withstand a okay. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. He's in Mexico, ma'am.
Yeah, it's built to withstand a Hulk, but an Omega level mutant. Yeah. I don't think it's really designed against storms, literally. But
Storm wasn't the one that did it. It was Rogue.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm getting my mutants mixed up. But
hey, look, man, hell hath no fury.
So
that is true.
The other thing that we got told by the ousted showrunner is that we need to go back and watch everything because Bastion is in every episode except for episode 3.
Yeah,
there's Waldo.
Somewhere.
And hence
we also said to prepare for what's coming in the future, we need to go watch Measure of a Man Part 1 and 2 from the old school Season 4 X-Men, which is where future Wolverine, Rogue, or future Wolverine, Storm, and Bishop go try and track down Charles Xavier Young.
Yeah.
We have to go watch those episodes to prepare for what's coming.
Well, he already told us that Leech and Callisto are dead, so which is interesting that, and we talked about this on Blurred's Eye View too. For the guy who has written this entire first season of X-Men 97 to be very candid about talking about it, that alone makes me wonder. It's like, because we talked about this, like he didn't do anything outside of, we don't know. Let me take it back. We don't know exactly what got him canned from 97, but I think it is fairly obvious at this point that he's going to definitely need to be back for the rest of the second season at this rate. Because if this was his direction in writing, it is going to show once episode 3 of season 2 passes. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm digging it. It's interesting. At the same time, I can't wait to see what happens when Xavier and Storm both show up. That's going to be an interesting ass conversation. But for those that did watch episode 7, guys, let us know in the comments what you think, what's probably going to be expected, because like I said, we don't got too many episodes left in the 97 run. I think they only gave us 8. I want to say it's 8 episodes that we only get, so it's like one more. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. But Joe, anything else you want to add to that before we move on?
Yep, my girl Emma got her secondary mutation in a very close way to the comics,
and she still
was trauma based.
And she still came with the lipstick.
I mean, it is what it is. 10 episode first season.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on episode 6. We got 4 more episodes.
Yep. So I thought they only gave it 8. So we got 10.
We got 10.
Oh,
because Zero Tolerance is a 3-parter.
Oh, I thought we had 8 of it. Okay, I stand corrected. We actually have 10. All right, well, cool. But before we move on, No, you're good. I was going to ask you for your final thoughts on episode 7 before I talk about this Xbox series contest that they all can enter in.
Same thing I said when we watched the show. When Morph asked, "Oh, is this who we are now?" I was like, "Well, between the teleporter, the telepath, and the Morph that didn't try to catch this man, yes."
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that was a Marvel versus Capcom thing that Rogue did, because then you had people trying to say it was like originally like a Gundam or a Gurren Lagann thing, and then apparently I didn't know like the intro sword slide from Thundercats was like an anime reference too, and I ended up going down this old 80s and 90s rabbit hole of who did it first.
I mean, it's like the Akira motorcycle slide. You can name about 5 different things. It's been 5 different things, and 5 different people have done it.
I thought it was just the slide. I didn't know there was so many others.
Yeah.
All that. Do you know who originated the Akira slide?
Wasn't it Kamen Rider?
Nope. Officer T.J. Hooker.
Really?
Captain Kirk does the power slide stop.
So, I thought you were talking about so he's not only known for the power slide stop, he's also known about the slide across the hood.
I don't know. I guess I've only seen him do, because he loves talking about it. It's like the power slide came from me. I did that all the time in the show.
Oh,
but yeah, this is I think this is doing a good job of blending, like, for the casuals and the hardcore fans, because I know nothing about That's when Bastion showed up. That's officially where my head was just like, okay. And then Bo confirming, like, hey, y'all were supposed to. He's been in every episode except 1. So if you know, you don't. If you do, or if you don't know, you don't know. If you do, congrats. And now we need to basically go back and play Where's Waldo. And on top of that, we have. So much happened at the end. Bastion's been here apparently the entire time. You're just gonna get suffocated and not fight back. Apparently, I get that Rogue like drained your energy, but still, Captain Shield is probably never getting found. Then there's the fact that Magneto's hostage in this old like Scooby-Doo barbershop with Shi'ar Tubi on the TV. Like, how do you even have this frequency?
It was kind of creepy at the end, but what you say, Joe?
He's Bastion's a miniaturized master mold. I mean, he basically is like this weird combination of Nimrod technology with the Master Mold technology condensed to a human form. He is that advanced.
I did catch the Nimrod like quick flash when Rogue took his memory. I was like, okay, I remember
He's
this
like
character.
a precursor to Nimrod.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because you see Nimrod in the intro from the first episode. You literally see him. I was like, I sit there and saw him like, oh, so Nimrod or Nimrod or pre-Nimrod is going to wind up showing. But
and then apparently we need to watch, I forget which episode he said, the one where Wolverine and Rogue are like married in the distant future. Apparently we need to
Measure of a Man, I think is what it's called.
Yes, we need to rewatch Measure of a Man before next week, according to Bo.
Yeah.
Part 1 and Part 2.
But while we're on the subject of X-Men, guys, I did want to point this out because this has been making the rounds. This right here, an Xbox Series X that is wrapped in an X-Men comic, along with Xbox custom controllers. Now, again, good news, you can win this. Bad news, it's not for sale. Sorry, bots. So the only way that, guys, you can actually win this Xbox Series X for Xbox, you have to go onto Xbox on X, formerly known as Twitter. And from there, you can either, of course, follow it, retweet it, things of that nature. They pretty much said that this is going to be a one and only. So if you are interested in trying to win said Xbox Series X, or if you're like Cleo Thomas, you're going to try to figure out how you're going to buy it. Shout out to Cleo Thomas. That man is on a mission to try to see if he can find this. But definitely go to Xbox on X, follow the rules there, and pretty much good luck. Because, again, it's a one-off. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you win it, please don't go on eBay and resell it. That's what bots do.
I've won a couple one-offs already, so if my history serves me
minor
correct,
correction, we need to watch One Man's Worth.
Oh, okay. One Man's Worth. Got it.
I remember the screenshot he posted. I'm like, I do remember that because it caught my attention, and we just kind of threw it away. Where they basically just go in loop trying to stop Charles from getting killed and fail like over and over.
Okay. Well, the last bit of news we got, guys, because again, like we said, slow news week. It happens. Before we get to our comic pulls, is this one is, I feel sorry because this is going to hit one of our friends, Shadow, pretty hard. But yeah. Boom Studios will end their 8-year Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics run. They did announce the end is near for the Power Rangers with the final issue, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Darkest Hour #1, coming July 23rd, 2024. Writer Melissa Flores will pen the story with art by Simona Di Gio. Forgive me if I mispronounced this. Guy Giafensi and colors by Raw and Yugilo. Again, this says a lot because I know a lot of people did enjoy the Power Rangers run. I know me, Joe, and Shadow here have covered a few issues that we've done here on Get Bit for Power Rangers. So it looks like this is kind of being the wrap up for this. I was trying to see if there was a reason because I was kind of trying to speed read through the article. But this is actually their, I guess, the last story they're going to be telling, Darkest Hour, as you can see the cover there. But yeah, and it's variant cover as well. So, Joe, do you know by any chance? You may actually have some background on this. The reason why Boom Studios may be ending their Power Ranger series run.
I think they're probably getting ready to reboot the line because we're moving in towards that time frame where the Power Rangers reboot may be happening soon, and they may need the comic to be support material for whatever the new franchise is going to be.
Okay.
That's my only logical thing because like we have gone so far on the alternate reality path from original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers where it can feasibly no longer become Power Rangers Zeo or Turbo or anything else. So they've gone as far as they can. So I think the only choice is to do like a little hard reboot now.
Which would make sense if they're going with the U.S. version of Power Rangers. So I guess it would make sense they want to line up with the television show. So that's a fair point. But
that in and of itself just got an interesting thing because Hasbro has now contracted Playmates to handle all form of Power Ranger toys. really interesting because they're like adding in certain things that we're not used to. They even mention blasters in this thing for a change. Power Ranger weaponry is very rarely made these days.
Although you think from a toy standpoint, because let's be honest, toys are what sells. So it's going to be, and like I said, the fact that they're ending it makes me think, like you said, they just could just be go ahead and ending it now and then just coming out with the show. Because let's be honest, merchandise and toys always sell television shows. Don't believe me? Transformers right now is taken by storm with the Megatron and the Optimus Prime and the Dinobot, which again, I'm not gonna lie.
There's also a Bumblebee. They just haven't advertised it.
And there's a oh, good lord! So that tells you off the bat that I don't know what's the cost of those toys, because I'm pretty sure it's somewhere between $4 and $5.
The Megatron is $800. My birthday is coming up June 7th.
I'm gonna just send you a birthday cake at that point. I don't know if I can do $800 for the $800 gift card. Right, that's L5. That's a lot of gift cards. But no.
Here, let me see if I can't pull it up. This Megatron is something to see.
Because I'm just saying, don't get me wrong. As much as I love those toys, my God. And
even IHOP is doing a toy giveaway with Sonic now, which I don't get how we have 3 movies in the one franchise named after the one franchise with the same name, and the favorite food of the character hasn't tried once.
That is kind of saying a lot, though, ain't it?
Like it's just a missed marketing opportunity. Like we've been talking about chili dogs since '91. Instead, the pancake place when it got it.
But what's so crazy about that? If you really think about it, because actually my wife pointed it out to me because she literally called me her Garfield because she made lasagna, and I'm like, you know what? I wasn't eating lasagna that heavy until Garfield. That's a fair point. And at the same time, I really wasn't eating that much chili dogs till Sonic. So yeah,
the only reason I ever tried one and liked it, and then I'm just like, how are we 3 movies in and you let IHOP swoop you underneath? But yeah, they have like a contest right now on Instagram. If you like, just comment, they're giving out gift cards and Jack specific toys.
But you would think for chili dogs, you think somebody would have compromised on that. It does bring it down. You're exactly right. But yeah, before we get to the comics, for all those that don't know the Megatron toy that we're talking about, this is what it is right here, guys. I'm just gonna mute it.
The toy has a commercial?
Don't mute it. Don't mute it. There's reasons.
Megatron, leader of the Decepticons.
The archenemy is here. Introducing the world's first auto-converting Decepticon robot, Megatron by Robocen. Designed with a modern aesthetic and supervised by Takara Tomy Japan.
Yeah, that name sounds
Megatron
expensive.
stands at 21 inches tall, featuring more than 4,500 premium materials and powered by 118 chips, controlling 36 high-precision servo motors, enabling fluid transformation and actions.
Decepticons, attack! Crush them! Crush them all!
Interact with your Megatron through an extensive library of voice commands. Voiced by Frank Welker, the Megatron himself from the G1 series. Or command him by remote control using your mobile device. Beyond the built-in actions, customize your Megatron by programming unique actions and sequences through the app. Or use easy programming mode. Now you can make him move without your phone. Fierce and formidable, Megatron will win any fight for Cybertron when equipped with the light-up Energon sword and Energon mace. Featuring individual controlled track treads, enabling the tank to perform pivot turns, mimicking real tank movements. Nothing will stop Megatron, featuring 4 tank shells that shoot up to 60 centimeters, powered by an advanced electric spring release mechanism. Featuring 2 touch sense zones, providing emotional action feedback when interacted with. Now you can get a more accurate battery reading in the battery indicator. Megatron will never run out of Energon ever again.
Try and stop me, Prime. Nothing can stop me now. Not even you. It's time to finish this. A pleasure to see you, Prime.
Megatron G1 Flagship Edition by RoboSen. Order now.
All I can say is wow.
I mean, you get your money's worth at least, because you know what? If you're someone who does stop motion animation or like stuff like that, this would be perfect for you.
Yeah.
It is giving small soldiers, though. Like, this is how you get small soldiers.
So
I'm waiting for Scott.
I've seen about this is that if you have an Optimus Prime and a Megatron, it reenacts the scene from the 86 movie.
Jesus.
So basically, don't let your toys be in together, or it's just Andy's room when no one's around.
Pretty much.
Oh, no. You just get to traumatize your child by letting Optimus Prime die again in front of them.
Jesus. Also, guys, Tafari did point this out as well. If you do go to IHOP on Instagram, like he's talking about, that they are giving away a bundle of Jack specific toys along with limited edition gift cards. So in order to log in, in order to actually be entered in, you'll definitely go to IHOP on Instagram. Like it says before, comment below which Sonic character you would share an IHOP meal with for a chance at 15 prize packs. As you can see there, the gift cards and the figurines with Shadow, Knuckles, Sonic, Tails, and I forgot her name that freaking fast.
Amy,
thank you. So it definitely is
Amy
interesting
Rose.
there, guys.
If you want more, Amy Rose is what he said.
Oh, thank you guys. But yeah, if you do want to enter in these contests, like I said, if you want to enter in the Xbox One, definitely look up on X for Xbox Series. Of course, for IHOP, for Sonic, definitely go to IHOP on Instagram for that. But yeah, I'm sorry, the whole stop measure thing with Megatron and Optimus is still in the back of my head. And yet,
once they pulled out the phone with the app and the controlled motion, I was like, okay, that's where the price points came in.
I mean, for $800, it better have something. I mean, goodness gracious, trauma hits for everyone.
I'm just saying, if that Megatron picks up on the wrong Wi-Fi, you're just gonna hear all Gorgonite scum must die. And
yeah, that's a little bit scary if it actually did happen. But
if you want the traumatizing toys, though, IHOP.
I mean, yeah, the safe toys are at IHOP. Apparently, Robeson just sat there and said, "Bubba, we're just gonna put Skynet in every house." But with that being said, guys, we are gonna move on to our comment pool. I'm sorry, go ahead.
If he becomes sentient, I have no problem following his commands. I believe in peace. Remember, Megatron is a freedom fighter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but his employee reviews are going to leave a lot to be desired upon, sir. I'm just saying. Ask
He gets better. He gets better.
He gets better.
You know, that Xbox, though, I need that in my life. I needed to replace my one-off Dragon Ball Xbox that I got from Rest in Peace Funimation.
I'll let y'all have. I'll let you have that ride. That's going to be a fight and a half for one of a kind. But let's go ahead and move on to our comic pools. But before we do get to our comic pool, guys, we do always want to show support to Rick's Comic City. Of course, Nashville's number one place for comic book stores, for comic books, for mangas, for collectibles, graphic novels. You name it in the world of pop culture, they have it. Definitely check out their two locations in Nashville and Clarksville, Tennessee, as well as their website at rickscomiccity.com. Again, that is the place to go in Nashville. If you are not in the Nashville area, or Middle Tennessee area, I should say, please support your local comic stores, support your local libraries, because again, guys, these are the places to where you can actually get not only your comics, your manga, things of that nature, you get the experience. I get it. Amazon is easy. Barnes & Noble is easy. Any place that has a Starbucks in it is easy. I get it. I understand it. But it's just something about going into a library, something about going into a comic book store to where you actually get the experience that you will never forget. And of those, if you bring kids of younger age who have never been inside of a library, who have never been inside a comic book store, can experience that same wonderment, that excitement that you had also when you were as a kid. And kids, we here at Get Bit have always said this and will continue to say this: read the banned books. We cannot tell you guys enough that even though a lot of y'all might not be young enough to understand this right now, but there are certain books that are being put out of your range for no other reason than just sheer stupidity. So what me and Joe and Tafari always say here, guys, is read the banned books, because there's something in there that you should know that'll help you out in the long run that they don't want you to know, but definitely read the banned books. You'll be better for it. So again, guys, support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries. If you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely support Rick's Comic City. So with that being said, Joe, I see you got the comics queued up, sir. So whenever you're ready. And you're muted, sir.
My mic is now unmuted.
Okay, now we can hear you.
This is Action Comics 1064. This is written by Josh Williamson. Drawn by Rafael Sandoval with colors by Alejandro Sanchez. This is the start of the big Superman plot that's going to be going until Absolute Power takes over with the House of Brainiac, where Brainiac just decides, hallelujah, it's raining Lobos, and then Superman has to find Lobo, and Superman literally, very comes close to killing Lobo. Lobo's like, okay, whoa, what's going on? It's like, why is all of you coming down? It's like, there's no clones of me outside of Crutch, and I don't want her a part of my life. What are you talking about? And then he's like, oh, it's this dude. This is the dude I modeled myself after I nuked my entire planet. He survived. Okay, so we're going to need to get off Earth, but because of Green Lantern, Earth is now quarantined from the rest of the galaxy. So what do? They get space motorbikes to break the quarantine, meaning Superman has a space motorbike to match Lobo's now.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's pretty much it.
But it was still a good issue, though. The fact that they're trying to use Lobo's race with Brainiac, which is actually setting up for the next event. But no, it was a good issue.
And Lobo
I just like that Superman nearly kills Lobo.
Yeah.
He grows back from like any piece of him that gets cut off, right?
Yeah. That's his ability. Lobo literally can't die.
But he can't apparently be beaten to death because he was telling Superman, back off. I haven't done anything.
Pretty much. But yeah, it was a good issue though.
We are moving on over to I loved it to death. Moving on over to Wonder Woman number 8. This is written by Tom King, drawn by Dan Sampere with colors by Tomo Mori. So the king of the president of the United States, I think that's his name.
Sovereign, yeah.
Has Wonder Woman trapped. The sovereign of the United States has Wonder Woman trapped after her gigantic colossal match with all of her villains that she lets live on a constant basis. Although for Diana, that's a choice she actively chooses. It's not like Bruce, they'll rehabilitate. No, kill the Joker. You'll save more lives. But anyways, so he traps her in what is the biggest lie she's ever lived, where she is a 1950s housewife to Steve Trevor. And then eventually she really dislikes this and breaks loose, and it does not go well for that poor old man.
How can I put this ever so nicely? This was probably for the better part of this issue. I didn't like it. I mean, I kind of felt like they kind of pulled a Batman animated series with the Mad Hatter kind of giving Batman the life of Bruce Wayne, and Bruce thinking the whole entire time Mad Hatter has figured out his identity, and it just didn't gel right to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, near the end, you're right, she does eventually break it and has a Sovereign by the neck, but really, for a lot of the direction it went for this issue, it might have not been for me, but I couldn't get with it. I couldn't get with it. I tried. I couldn't.
That was the point of it. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable because the Sovereign's using quotes from the Bible to keep Wonder Woman in this this reality she doesn't want to be in.
Yeah, but it's how can I put this so nicely? It was almost predictable that the Sovereign would try to get an Amazon to submit. It's almost like
the last of wise. You only can do so much.
But it could have been a different direction, though. I mean, that's just me. Like I said, I know this is probably going to be the one issue that's going to have that's probably going to be split among Wonder Womans. Don't get me wrong. The entire run of Wonder Woman so far has been great. This has just probably been the one issue I just couldn't get behind. But I know some people on the other side are going to be like, well, this was great. It may not have been for you, but the whole idea was supposed to be unsettling just because, again, you're getting an Amazon to submit to 1950 standards. At the same time, she's literally fighting herself. So I get that part. It just wasn't for me.
Here's how I looked at it. It's Diana has always been about her freedom. Is why she refuses to marry Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
So the one thing that is the direct opposition of her is not even subjugation, just being married, being a dutiful housewife, not wanting I don't want to sound derogatory because I love this series. Basically making her Mrs. Cunningham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's the point I'm getting at. I mean, I get what they're trying to go with that. Because, in her mind, I hate to say it, in her mind, it's like marriage is prison. I mean, the way she looks at it, like, I can't be exactly what you want, so she sees it as a literal prison. I get that part. But yeah, it just, like I said.
Also, the Trinity comic in the background was wonderful, where she goes to the samurai planet and fights.
That was it.
Basically, Rurouni Kenshin.
I was like, this girl's gonna screw up history. This girl's really gonna screw up history. But no, but the side story was pretty cool too.
Moving on over. Yep. Moving on over. Ultimate Spider-Man #4, written by Jonathan Hickman, with guest star by David Mensa, colors by Matthew Wilson. Oh my God, I love this issue so much. We get to have a sit down with Mary Jane, Peter, Harry, and Harry's wife, Gwen Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a big dialogue dump, but it needs to be said, especially the ending parts where I love that Mary Jane immediately misconstrues one of their questions as a request if she and Pete want to swing with Gwen Harry. And like, no, God, no. We mean this. Oh, that's why you need Peter. By all means, please. Me and Peter. By all means, please. Yes, we'll be happy to help you.
Weirdest dinner date ever. That is by far the weirdest dinner date ever.
Harry brings up one of the best points. It's like, have you told Mary Jane about you being you? It's like, no. If I do, people will come after her. It's like, you've told Gwen. It's like, yeah, I tell her everything because there is nothing about your other life that's gonna make you. What did he say? You can't insulate people from your other life and expect them to be safe.
Yeah.
They gotta know so they know what to watch out for.
I mean, that's always been Peter. Peter has always held his identity close to the vest. And even in Ultimate Spider-Man, as he basically regains his role, it's like, yeah, my daughter found out by accident, but I can't tell Mary Jane. How's that gonna go? But I mean, I see what Harry was talking about, though. But Harry still being Green Goblin as a force for good is still mystifying me. It still mystifies me.
The fact that his wife is Gwen Stacy is hilarious to me, but I love this book so much because Harry's also the one to tell Peter's like, look, dude, with great power comes great responsibility. Wasn't Uncle Ben? Uncle Ben
That-
is too busy babysitting his not quite grandson, where it's like, you want to go watch television? No. Good
It's kind of
boy.
weird. It's kind of weird to hear it's weird to hear the famous quote by somebody else. Is that just me?
I understand why you say that, but that's because we only get like maybe a few pages with kindly old Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Where this is the Uncle Ben who's been alive since like forever. So we don't see an uncle through the eyes of a 16-year-old. We see the uncle through the eyes of a 30-year-old. We're just like, God damn it. I gotta make a people with Jonah.
That's fair. It's just the more I thought about that, just to hear Osborn say that iconic line, it just like it feels weird because all I hear is William Dafoe's voice.
I mean, Tom Holland gave us like his own remix version of it in Civil War.
Right. That's the thing about it. It's like every time I hear it, it's like this was my problem during the entire read of this comic. That every time Harry talked, I heard William Dafoe's voice. And don't get me wrong, I loved him. Loved him as Osborn, loved him as Green Goblin. I cannot separate the voice from the character to save my life right now.
You should, considering the voice you should be hearing is James Franco.
I should.
James Franco is Harry, not Norman.
Yeah, but you are, and again, 100% right about that. But every time I hear Goblin, my mind goes straight to Defoe.
Oh yeah, no, that's 100% accurate.
But you're 100%
Every time
right.
I hear Goblin, I go right immediately to the '90s series.
Gotcha. But no, it was a good issue though. But it's going to be interesting to see if he does tell Mary Jane his identity, which I still doubt he will.
I think he's going to be forced to at some point.
Maybe.
Moving on over, Black Panther 2. Black Panther issue 3, written by Brian Hill with art by Stefano Caselli and colors by David Correll. We get to formally meet Killmonger and Storm, who I am confused if they are married or not.
They didn't look married. They look more like allies. They look
Like
more like
they're
allies.
definitely like a couple or allies or a couple, but like they also kind of give off married vibes sometimes by the way they talk to each other.
Yeah. But the whole thing of just the disrespect, though, it's like the King of Wakanda does not know everything. And it's like, well, damn, just I know my own country, but I've never seen this structure before. It's like, oh, well, there are things here older than the Panther. I was like, there's a reason why Killmonger, although Killmonger is not the Killmonger that we know him to be from the MCU, but it's interesting the fact he saw this level of, out here we don't have servants, we hunt for our food. I was like, I can hunt, good. Then you can clean this, but make it like animals did it. It's like, damn. There was a little bit of sass.
Now, my favorite thing was like, it's your land, you're cooking.
Yeah. But the whole thing about this, though, of course, with Storm being the fact that what they showed him at the end, like I was trying to figure that out for the life of me, what that orb was supposed to be, that big globe orb looking thing, and it was like all they said was, well, we don't know exactly what it is, but we know that Khonshu cannot have it. So it does set up for an interesting issue 4 as far as them explaining what that is. But no, I am digging the Ultimate Black Panther series so far. And the fact that Storm has always been beautifully drawn. Thank God. Because I was a little concerned. Anytime somebody draws Storm, I feel like there's this contract out there that says, look, you can destroy any other character out there, but if Storm does not look beautiful, you're fired. I kind of feel like that's it. I feel like that's an ongoing contract with the Storm character, that she has to look radiant and everything. If she does not, you're never going to work in Marvel Comics again. But no, I did dig it. It's an interesting issue. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, this attire for her, I kind of like say this is Pirate Storm.
Yeah.
Just from the way she's dressed.
Yeah, it's giving Jack Sparrow.
It's almost like that. It's almost like that one. It goes back to that Tanishi Coates run of how Storm looked. Not all the way Queen of Wakanda, but not all the way Pirates of the Caribbean either. Kind of in the middle. But I'm not knocking it. I dig the look.
Good book all around. Next up, we have Fall of House of X #4, written by Jerry Dugan. Art by Lucas Wernick and Jethro Morales. Colors by Brian Valenze. This was a good one. Ultimately, it's just the X-Men still fighting against Orcus. Nimrod nearly kills Scott, but Magic gets him out there. And Charles has finally turned himself over to Orcus to Rich Playboard. It's like, look, I know what your end game is. You want us out of the way, so that way the humans are easier to kill. Why don't you leave us alone? Kill the humans. All we need, and it's been proven, is an island. And we'll get back the mutants will get back on our island, float away, and you'll never hear from us again. Meanwhile, he's like contacting Scott, tries to contact him. It's like, Charles is getting ready to fuck us over already.
And you can't blame Scott. I'm sorry.
Nope.
You can't blame Scott because Scott's like, we listened to you the first time and you got most of us killed, and now you're expecting us to listen to you again? He said, forget you. And then he's on, and you use the mansion to bring me back to my childhood. I'm surprised he didn't blast him on sight, honestly. I know it's a mental teleportation of it all, but I'm like, you still could blast and let him know that he's not wanted. The whole idea that Charles is sitting there and he's going, I have to save my kids, but you still want to go the pacifist route. Literally, the strongest telepath. You could end the war right now, but choose not to. This is why I say Charles is not a pacifist. But I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Charles dreams differently than the rest of us. We'll just put it that way.
Pretty much.
Now, it's a good book. This continues to set up everything. I enjoyed it. Moving right along, we got Fall of the House of X #2. This is written by Kieran Gillen with Luca Maresca doing art and Federico Blee doing colors.
Uh-oh. Hang on, Joe. You might be breaking up a little bit.
What's going on in the White Hot Room with everything? That's why it freaked out on me. Charles put Rachel in the White Hot Room to reactivate the Phoenix. They are also getting ready to do a funeral pyre in the White Hot Room for Jean, because if Jean dies, the Phoenix absolutely gets waken up and then does. But Jean's like, the Phoenix is a little weirded out and frightened right now. Maybe we need to hold on just a moment. Meanwhile, Apocalypse is carrying around the literal corpse of Krakoa just to get it back onto the island to rejuvenate everything. This is everywhere, but this is still a good book because Kieran Gillen just amazing work.
Although, Apocalypse basically feeding mutant blood to a dying Krakoa tree was a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, that had a little bit of creepy vibes to it. Like, you need my blood to survive. Nope, you need more mutants. It's like, wait a second, so we're sacrificing mutants to a tree now? That's a little weird.
I looked at it this way. This gets rid of some of the unnecessary mutants we don't need in this story. Or in one particular place, this resets a character for later use. Because Rockslide has been Wrong Slide for almost the entirety of Krakoa, ever since Ten of Swords. So killing him resets and gives us Santos back.
I'm sorry, just remind me of that line in the issue. He's like, Rockslide is just like, Rockslide has always been wrong. It's like, damn. So the best thing you can do is be sacrificed. Messed up, but yeah, it's messed up, but I get it. Hang on. The control tree is Audrey too? Pretty much. Really, it is.
It's being forced. It is, but it's one of those like asking for it. It's Apocalypse knows old magic, so he knows what needs to be done to keep it alive.
Yeah. Still though, weird.
Moving right over, we got Miles Morales issue 19 or issue 301. This is just a giant final boss fight issue, and this was gorgeous to look at and wonderful to read. Especially where the panels are entirely black and white because Miles is blinded by a flash bomb. I'm
like, of all the things you get hit with a solar flare, you got hit by a solar flare and still was fighting on instinct. I'll give him that, but I was surprised because I kept on thinking the entire time the only way you're going to be able to stop Rabble is you pretty much got to you have to end her, and yet in true Spider-Man fashion, he does find a way. Although he gets beat the crap out of it, his clone brother literally gets knocked out. At the same time, I'm not gonna say Miles needs to brush up on his fighting skills, but I'm like, dude, how did you go from dodging everything to like getting hit by everything? Is my question. But it was still a good issue. I will say this: it's still a good issue, especially the fact that near the end he had to introduce Shift to the rest of his family, and the mom was like, the dad was very calm. The mom was in shock. To sit there and see a clone, a larger clone of your son, and he's like, oh, okay. Mom's like, I need a drink. But it was an interesting closure to it, to this current story. Although I think the only person they didn't get was what's her face, Gao. So I think Gao is still out in the loose, but no, it was a good issue though.
I like how everybody in this issue was remorseful for their actions as they're being controlled by Rebel, except for Taskmaster's like, I'm just here for the paycheck. I don't care how you use my body.
Well, I mean, Taskmaster's always been honest. He's like, I'm just here because I was paid, and now I'm leaving. But like
I love that the majority of Spider-Man villains cannot stand Peter Parker, but like you got the Scorpion telling Miles, "You're okay, kid." Yeah. The Rhino going, "You're okay, kid." Like they legitimately respect and care about Miles, which tells me to a degree, Miles may be better at this than Peter a lot of the times.
I mean, when you sit there and have the Scorpion say, "Dang, I have another IOU to that brat." He's like, as Matt is telling Prowler, it's like, "Dang it, I owe another IOU for saving my life." Does that mean you gotta go straight? Don't push it. Damn. This is the whole. But you got a point though. It's almost like all the rogues do have a lot more respect for Miles than they do Peter, which is kind of saying a lot.
I think it's because Miles doesn't trash talk them as much as Peter. He's just like, look, I need you to do good. I don't want to do this.
True, but what's a Spider-Man without a one-liner? I mean, that's kind of what he's known for.
Miles Morales?
I mean, that's true. I mean, without the one-liners, you are just Miles Morales. I mean, there has to be a trade-off. You get exceptional one-liners or invisibility and venom strikes. Either one.
Yep. So, by the way, this is written by Cody Ziegler with art by Federico Blee and colors by Brian Valencia. So, next up for Miles, we get Blood Hunt.
Yep, vampires.
Moving on over, we get Cobra Commander. This is number 4. This is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Andrea Molina and colors by Annalisa Leone. Cobra Commander's fight with the Dreadnoughts comes to a close. He finds what he's after, and then the Nemesis, which is the dude that's been guarding. It's like, mission complete. Now it's time for mission 2. We don't need you.
Pretty much. He's like, we found the scientist.
And then, of course, at the end of it.
No, go ahead.
And then, of course, at the end of it, one of the drones like, if you spare us, we'll take you to somebody that'll give you an army. His name's Destro.
Mm-hmm.
The Cobra Commander's like, go on.
Yep, and then we get introduced to Mars, which is kind of funny to see Destro. It's like we're going that origin story, which is kind of reminiscent to what G.I. Joe with Channing Tatum and Marlon Wayans in it with Mars, with the guy from Mars trying to say that he was Destro, or even with the traditional mask in the background. So I mean, don't get me wrong, this was also a good one. It's just the fact that, we kind of saw the betrayal coming the moment it's like you found what we needed, so we don't need you in Cobra Law anymore. And yet at the same time, Cobra Commander pulls an Iron Man. I'll give him that. How in the world do you sit there and basically have a pulse reactor ready to go at the same time? It's like, okay, you didn't think I was prepared for this? But it does make sense. He is him winding up with Destro does eventually set up the private army, which again on the Duke side, which once we get back to that issue, makes me wonder where Duke is going to wind up at. But no, Cobra Commander this week was definitely good.
I think my favorite part of this one was the fact that he, for all intents and purposes, he made infant Insecticons for a hot second.
I mean, hey, if you're gonna have a plan B, you might as well have a plan B that puts down a flapping vampire. What'd you get? I get.
And then we finish out the night with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 119, part of the Darkest Hour storyline. This is written by Melissa Flores with illustrations by Simona D. Galifants and Mark Arena. Colors by Raul Anglo with assistance by Jose Enrique Fernandez. So this is going to be almost a Key and Peele joke here in a moment, so my apologies. So they learned how to beat Dark Spectre, or at least counteract the evil morphing energy, because we were often told too much peak energy is dangerous. How about too much white power? Which is exactly what they do. So they spread out the white tiger coin ability to everybody, to where everybody is a hybridized color/white ranger to ward off his effects or counter his effects. That's pretty much the issue this time around, but it's just one of those, it's a lot of white Power Ranger power going on around there.
It's just funny that my mind goes back to that joke. It just, what Ranger are you? Don't worry about it. I mean, but you can say it. No, we're good. We're good. Let's keep it going.
What was it? It was the Falcons episode or Falcons skit.
Yeah, the Falcons skit where he wanted to sit there and say it. It was like, no, we can keep going. No, seriously, you can say it. No, I can't. You can't say it. Really? He's red. He's red. Really? I'm red. She's yellow. She's pink. He's blue. He's black. You can't say it. Nope. I can't say it. I can't
White
say
Falcon?
it. Nope.
Come in, White Falcon.
Yeah. He's like, you can say White Falcon. He's like, nope, can't say it. Nope, I'm good. But no, it did remind me of that when I was reading this issue, though. It really did.
My mind immediately went wow, this is a Key and Peele sketch almost immediately. To be fair, the upgrade design, the hybridization of White Ranger powers into the other suit powers looked really cool. My question is, does everybody get their own little multicolored Saba? How does this work? Do we only get the shield and the helmet upgrade? If we listen gently on the wind, do we hear Shadow screaming? Because once again, his fanfic has to be rewritten entirely.
Oh, Shadow's probably got a clenched fist somewhere in J. Jonah Jameson style. you know he's got a closed fist. Like, God, you already know.
I
But
think he says by now at this point, he's just going to wait for the finale and then read everything. That way they can't add any more that's going to interrupt his writing process. But still, I'm reading this is like, if I listen on the wind, I can hear him scream.
more than likely, yeah. But yeah. With that, Joe, I think you said that was the last one we got, right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joe, for the comic pulls. As Obi is reminding me that it's probably time to eat, but that's okay. But after we wrap this up, guys, let everybody know what they're doing. Safari, one of those folks you're doing, sir?
So, yeah, tell them Obi's feeding time. You can find me here on all platforms underneath this name. I post on Mondays because Mondays are terrible, and I try to make them suck a little bit less. Next Monday's video will be a tribute to the late Akira Toriyama because getting cards professionally graded takes a long time for those who don't know. Also ordering collectibles from overseas. Outside of that, I have a Helldivers skit out right now that's pretty funny. If you're into the lore, feel free to go fight for democracy. Other than that, I do the editing for the Blurred's Eye View podcast. So please come check us out live Tuesdays and Thursdays, or check out the highlights I upload Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Like transition.
My bad. Hang on, I got you. Sorry. Sorry about that. Joe, you want to had to grab a bottle. Sorry about that.
Obi is the producer unofficially.
Obi is the unofficial producer, exactly. But Joe, you want to tell folks what you're doing, sir?
Tomorrow I will be in Murfreesboro for the Thai Lao Food Festival. There's also a mini anime convention going on at the Clarion in Murfreesboro tomorrow. Go see the other Ghostbusters. I will be there. I will not be there because I do not want to eat Thai food and then be in a Ghostbusters uniform. I am not that quick. Plus, I've never had Laotian food, so I don't know how well that's going to go. But I am going to go have fun over at that food festival. So I will be there. Next week is Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
Go make your children forcibly teach them to read through the wonders of comics.
I was like, man,
I will be
it's
there.
going to be May already?
Yeah.
4th, next week.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Nice.
I will not be in a costume this year because it's too hot and I'm getting too old to be in uniform for any of these things.
Nice.
I also got a Star Wars themed wedding. Let me rephrase that. A very heavily Star Wars themed wedding, which I have been expressly forbade from showing up in the lower decks officer's uniform. So more likely I'll be in a lower decks officer's uniform, and then much like if you order your steak medium or well done, I will be firmly and politely asked to leave.
Oh dear.
But they will take my chopper droid and just put him in my seat for the remainder of the wedding.
They're gonna not the chopper droid.
Also, May is Asian Pacific Islander month. So if you go to Middle Tennessee API, you can see what all of our events are going to be for this month. We will be at the soccer stadium. We will be at the baseball game. I get to go to my first Sounds game next Friday.
Nice.
I hope it's fun. It's baseball, so that can go two different ways.
Oh, Sounds games are definitely fun. They really truly are. You're not gonna get disappointed.
Then just, good food all around all through the month and various events. So please go over there. I am also learning how to edit videos very slowly, very poorly, extremely poorly.
Everything was a trial by fire. So trust me, you at least have help. I just was like, let's just throw things at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. I am currently using, which two are they? Open Shot and CapCut.
Oh, CapCut.
To learn how to edit.
CapCut's not bad.
CapCut actually does a lot of the work for you. So that one, I wish I had CapCut back in the day. I had to jerry rig an iPad app onto my MacBook, and that was my thing.
So learning. So hopefully at some point the Show Guy Joe channel will start having videos again outside of shorts going, telling the channel, like, look, guys, I got a day job. I'm not like the kids on YouTube these days that are doing this for a living. I'm old and tired. Videos will come out when I can get them out. Which, by the way, I have a day job. I don't, unlike the kids doing these videos, so the videos will come out when they're out.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, before I get to my shameless plugging, guys, I do always want to shout out to those that need me shouting out. To Big BZA Dot, definitely check him out and his YouTube page for beats and things of that nature. Also, guys, check out BlurStation.com. We cannot talk enough about this vehicle here that we always said we want our own table. Well, here it is for blurs and people of color. If you want television shows, movies, music, comics, anime, manga, this is where you can find it. All at the price of almost said it wrong, of $11.99 a month. So again, if you do want to join it, definitely when you do join it, join the Blurred's Eye View Affinity membership. Select any member there, doesn't matter who, we would all appreciate it. And again, $11.99 a month. Again, it's one of those things to where, again, we have to worry about, our money going to subscriptions and different streamer things of that nature. Hey, at this point, with everything that's going either missing or gone, Blur Station is actually trying to make sure the content stays there. And if you are a content creator, guys, you have to join BlurStation.com first, and then from there you can pitch to have your content on Blur Station. And again, you get to keep to own it. The only thing that Blur Station asks is for a little bit of the distribution. When you think about it, it's not that bad. So again, check out BlurStation.com. If you do join us, guys, select the Blurred's Eye View Affinity membership. Select any one of us there. And again, it's $11.99 a month. At 36 months, you do have the opportunity to own a piece of Blur Station. A whole lot easier than trying to own a piece of Netflix, Amazon, or Hulu and paying a buttload amount of money for it, where $11.99 a month for 36 months isn't bad. As for me, guys, you can usually find me Black_Spartan615 on the socials, of course, with my son, who is my producer, who has now has decided to take a nap. So you can definitely find me there. The link at the bottom, guys, will make that a little bit bigger for you guys to see. If you copy and paste that link into your browser, take the link to the YouTube and Facebook groups for all of our podcasts. How the fact we got here, get bit off those podcasts. Like, share, subscribe, get the notifications up. Simply put, guys, we cannot do this without you. So again, a like, a share, a follow costs nothing. It only takes a second to do. If you ever feel the need to donate, we're not going to stop you. But really, it's about letting people know what we do, because we definitely do love this. And again, much like PBS and those other broadcast network stations out there, we simply cannot do this without you. So with that being said, guys, as we wrap this up, we will definitely be back here, hopefully next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel, giving you the news and trailers of the week, or we'll have it in some form or fashion. But before we call it night, guys, any last words?
Spider-Man 3 is back in theaters. If anybody wants to go see it,
always worth watching. Joe?
I don't think I can take that much Toby dancing. Did anybody, whoever's been keeping up with Oblivion Battery, you do get to see Studio Mappa recreate Goku going Super Saiyan in full glorious fluid animation. There's actually a whole comedy skit where one dude just straight transforms into Goku and then does the whole Super Saiyan transformation sequence.
Nice. Well, with that being said, guys, last thing
we'll say, Studio Mappa, so you know it's going to look gorgeous.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the last thing we'll say about Give It Podcast, guys, we are all about sharing fandoms. We love them, we support them, we debate them, we argue them. The last thing we want to do is be toxic gatekeepers or simply put down people whose tastes are different than ours. Simply put, guys, there is a reason why we encourage folks to get into cons, to get into comics, mangas, video games, things of that nature, because we want more cohesion, more collaboration. Simply put, accept everybody's choices, discuss it without actually being hateful about it, and above all else, don't be a dick. That being said, guys, that's going to do it for this podcast tonight. I've been Will. He's been Joe. He's been Tafari. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll all get through this. Peace.